Evaluating your medical evidence. This module is so crucial. It is also near and dear to my heart. As a registered nurse, I definitely understand how medical evidence or your medical records helps to prove your story. So let's just jump right into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit more about the manual, the VA manual, the guidebook, the M21-1, in reference to medical evidence and how they define it. And then we're going to give you some tips on how you should organize your medical records. But the key thing is we're going to look at what are some things that you should be doing from a medical evidence perspective or medical records perspective inside of the phases, inside of the recovery, MRDP phase, inside of the MEB phase, inside of the PEB phase. So this one is going to bring it all home. So why is this so important? It's important because you need to understand the types of evidence that will prove your claims. And they've listed it out for us. We just have to review it. And it helps to have a clear and concise medical record that will prove your medical story. And is by having a clear, concise medical record, by understanding the types of evidence that they being the VA and the boards are going to review, you now know what to say and how to communicate. You understand the language. Part of this is understanding the med board language. And that's the purpose of this course. Now, what you should not do, and what I would not advise, in my opinion, is depend solely on your MSc liaison or your VSO. A quick disclaimer. I am not a lawyer. I'm not a VSO. I'm not MSc liaison. I am a registered nurse. But here's the thing. This is your board. The MSc liaison is on your team, but you are the coach. You are the one who's going to make some decisions here. They will help you identify some things, and there are some very good liaisons and some very good VSOs. All I'm saying is don't strictly solely depend on them to go through your medical records and tell you what to claim. It's important that you have a vested interest in this, because at the end of the day, when the curtain closes and you leave military service, you have to be the one that says, I left it all on the line. I left everything on the field. I gave my all. I understood what I needed to understand. So don't really depend solely on them. Be an active, engaged partner. Okay. And don't assume that the problems list is the end all, the be all. Sometimes the problems list is not updated. So when you're going through your medical records and you say, oh, everyone says just go to the problems list, inside of your medical records and in the clinical notes, there may be other diagnoses, other things there that may not have been updated inside of the problems list. Should you use it as a guide? Absolutely. But don't solely depend on it also, because it may not be updated. Go through your medical records. And if you don't have anyone to help you with that, again, you can use a VSO, but that's what we're here for. This is what my job is. This is what I do. I will help you walk through this process. So let's jump into this. Right here, we're presenting the principles for reviewing and weighing evidence. Where is this from? This is from the M21-1, Part 5, Subpart 2, Chapter 1, Section 8 of the VA M21 guide. It is a guidebook. It is not regulation, it is not law, but I'm giving you the insight as the guidebook of what they are looking, they being the adjudicators, are the people who are going to evaluate your claim, what they're looking at. Clearly here it defines the guidelines for evaluating that evidence, and it talks about medical evidence and weighing the evidence. Take a look at this section. Take a look at M21 and just get familiar with it. Here's the other thing. By doing this now, it will help you so much in the future when you become a veteran. By going through all these processes and steps and reviewing medical records, this will help you when you become a veteran. What is evidence? According to M21-1, here is a table that talks about the different types of evidence. There's testimonial. I wonder where we heard testimonial from. I believe in the PEB and the MEB modules, we talked about writing your own statements, but oral and written statements. There's documentary, which are documents. Documents mean the medical records. Real, which is a tangible object, usually playing some role in an event from which the fact finder may draw inferences. An example, a prescription medication container may prove evidence of a diagnosis or a treatment. Demonstrative, evidence that illustrates a testimony of a witness, such as a map diagram or reenactment. Direct, which is evidence capable by itself of proving a fact or issue. Circumstantial, which is evidence that may allow the fact finder to deduce a certain fact from other facts that can be proven. Take a look at this. And if you need to add more evidence, get it. If it's a map to show where you were, if it was orders, if it's your personal statement, if it's a buddy statement, get that evidence and submit it. Because your job is to show the board the entire picture. Work with your lawyer to do that, but your job is to show the entire picture. Now, this talks about the questions to ask when weighing evidence. This is the mindset of the adjudicator, the one who is not the doctor, not the CNP examiner. This is the person who is looking at all this evidence and evaluating to see what ratings we should give you. Did the evidence originate in service or in close proximity to service? This is what they're thinking. Is the medical opinion supported by clinical data and review of medical records? Review of medical records. How detailed, clear, or persuasive is the opinion? Is the opinion based on personal knowledge or on history provided by another person? This are the types of things that they being the evaluator is going to think about. And then it talks about the IDES. These are all the topics and information about requesting examinations for IDES departments. So here are the DBQs required for IDES examinations. They talk about the responsible providers, disabilities that require an examination. It gives you the type of medical opinions the MSC must request. This might be a little bit too much for some, but I'm just giving you this information for you to decide. Here it talks a little bit about the disabilities that require examination for IDES purposes. So VA examinations are generally required for all referred disabilities on VA Form 21-0819. We showed you that in the forms module. and in the MEB module, and all claim disabilities on the VA Form 21526EZ that was returned during the initial IDES meeting. Any questions though? Like, say, for example, hey, I just recently went through an exam and now I found myself inside of a medical board like myself. You can ask your MSc officer, should I get an exam for this if it's been under a year? Those are the kind of questions that you want to ask them.